Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from H7T04A, and our group members consists of me. I am Rosaliya Alisha binti ROZAINAL.
My name is Tang ZIHONG.
My name is Transichi.
And my name is ALIAWANI.
Okay, so today we will discuss about the topic for the topic 8, limits and continuity, and we will discuss for the question 4A, B, C, D. So we will start with Tang Zihong for question 4A.
Okay. Okay, now we're talking about question 4A. So the question asks us to find limit when x approaches 2 from the left, because you can see the negative sign here. And the first thing we have to do is to solve this modulus denominator, because we don't know whether we have to use x minus 2 or negative bracket x minus 2. So by using the formula of absolute value, when we sub x minus 2 equals to a, and we will get these two equations. So when x minus 2 be greater or equal to 0, which means this side, we have to use x minus 2. And when it is smaller than 0, we have to use this. We have to add a negative in front of the bracket. So we factorize x squared minus 4 equals to bracket x plus 2 and bracket x minus 2, and we cancel off these two, and then we will sub 2 inside, we will sub x into 2, and we get 2 plus 2 divided by negative 1, so the final final answer will be negative 4. So any questions?
I want to ask, why instead of the x minus 2 and then x minus 2 bigger or equal to 0, but we use the one that have negative sign in front?
Oh, you mean here, right? Okay, this is because the question asks us when x approaches 2 from the left side. So means that it is from the left, means that it comes from this side. So we have to use a negative. Here the equation have a negative, right? So we choose to use this, but not this, because it comes from the left. If the question asks come from the right, then we have to use x minus 2. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so that's my questions. Now we continue for question 4B.
Okay, so I will continue for questions 4B. So wait, yeah. Okay. Okay, so this question is question 4B. The question is limit x approaches 3 from right, modulus x minus 3 um, divided by 3x squared minus 9x. So from here we need to solve the modulus x minus 3 first. So we sub into the formula, the absolute value formula. Then we sub the x minus 3 into a. Then we will get this formula. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We will get this formula. Get this, and then from here we know that x approaches 3 from right, so we use this instead of we only use this when x approaches 3 from left. Yeah, so we will use x minus 3 for this questions. So we use x minus 3, then after that we do factorize for this 3x squared minus 9x, then we'll get 3x bracket x minus 3, then we can do factorize, we can like cut off, then we sub 3 into the equations, and we'll get 1 over 9. So that's all for 4B. Questions 4B. Okay, so Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue for questions for C.
Okay, I will be presenting for question C. Okay, this is for question C. At first, I will be, from this equation, I will factorize this part, 7 minus 7x plus x squared, 2, x minus 5, and x minus 2. And when we see there's this modulus 5 minus x, different from question A and B, the modulus will look like this. So at first I will draw the graph, and then we will see there's both sides. Here is when x is approaching from left, and here is when x is approaching from right. When x is approaching from left, this is the equation, so we can write from here. 5 minus x is when x is approaching from left. And second, minus, this graph is opposite for this graph, so we can just minus this equation to become minus 5 minus x. So we can do the equation for limit x is approaching 5 from left. We will use this equation. When we expand the 5 minus x, we will get negative x plus 5. We'll just rearrange. And then factorize the minus sign, we will get minus x minus 5. And then we can just cross it, and we will be left with x minus 2 over minus 1. So just substitute all, and we will get minus 3. For limit x approaching to 5 from right is also the same. We will be using this equation. The same thing as well. X minus 5, x minus 2 over negative 5 minus x. Rearrange it, and we will get x minus 5 and cross. And we will substitute x with 3. And for the conclusion, both answers for limit x 5 from the right and limit x approaching from the left is not equal, because this one is negative 3 and this one is positive 3. Therefore, it is not the same. Limit x minus x approaching to 5 is undefined.
I have a question. Why we need to like make one equation is for 5 from the left and another one is 5 from the right?
Because this equation is a modulus. When we draw the graph, there will be two values coming from both sides because it's touching from one. Is that clear?
Okay, thank you.
So I'll be continuing to 4D.
Okay. Okay, so I will be explaining for the 4D. So for the 4D, we have the equation where there is a modulus, and this modulus is a quadratic modulus. So when like we all know, usually we only like for the ABC question, like there is only normal modulus, and we just try to bring out the modulus, and we just go to this part, right? But for here, because it is quadratic, so I need to factorize. So we factorize it become like this, and the modulus is still there. And then for the equation, the inside here must bigger or equal to 0. So we will end up have x plus 3 and x minus 1 bigger or equal to 0. And this equation, it is also known as quadratic inequality. When there is quadratic inequality, we must use this kind of graph to determine what is the value for the x. So for the equation of x plus 3 and x minus 1 bigger or equal to 0, so because it is bigger, so we will draw here to indicate it is bigger or equal. And so the x will be smaller or equal to negative 3, and or x bigger or equal to 1. When we have this equation, we can put the equation here, which is x squared plus 2x minus 3 is x smaller or equal to negative 3, or x bigger or equal to 1. And for the negative in front, here, okay, I'm sorry. Okay. For the negative in front here, the behind this is opposite as this one. So there is no equal sign. Instead, it is just negative 3 smaller than x, and x is smaller than 1. Okay, so from the question, 1 is approaching from the left because there is a negative sign. So for me personally, I will draw this number line and I put a 1 here, and I draw an arrow to indicate it is from the left. So when it is from the left, it is impossible that this 1 is bigger or equal to 1. So instead, only the first equation, which is the negative and x squared plus 2x minus 3 equation is the only one that is possible. So we sub this equation into the to replace the modulus, and we copy back the same equation, and then factorize and cancel off the x minus 1 and x minus 1. So we left with negative outside with x plus 3 and x over x. And then we can finally sub the x approaching 1. We can sub the 1 into x, and it will become negative bracket 1 plus 3 over 1. And this negative must remember to sub it into the bracket. So it will become negative 1 and negative 3 over 1. And when we do the equation, we will get negative 4 over 1. So this one is cancelled off, and we're left with negative 4. So the answer is negative 4. So is there any question? There is none. So this is our video discussion. And so thank you.